I believe there is a will in the house.
Okay. And what does it say?
Everything's left to me.
Everything's left to you. And do you help me out financially where you're at the moment?
Financially, I'm...
Are you in debt?
Oh, yeah, I'm always in debt. That's
To
me.
the tune of what? In total?
Maybe approaching 100 grand.
Criminologist and former Detective Chief Superintendent Dr. Graham Hill is in Surrey to find out more about the 2007 murder of Sharon Birchwood, whose body was found in her home in the village of Ashted in December of that year. Despite what appeared as a watertight alibi, Maria and her team still suspected that Sharon's ex-husband George could lead them to an answer.
The thing you find with lots of people that are trying to hide information from the police is the longer they talk, the more they leak information. And that was Maria and the investigation team's strategy, was to get George to continue giving information as a significant witness in this case.
These interviews didn't just happen over days, they happened over weeks. And we would take him home to his mother's place where he was staying because he didn't have any transport. And then we'd take him back to the suite where we'd interview him again. I took him back into his house with his mother to say hello to his mum, because I got to know her quite well, as you can appreciate. She said, "Oh, how are you getting on? How'd you get on today, George?" He said, "Oh, yeah, that's all right, Mother. We were just talking about this bits and pieces and, you know, my friend and everything." And then she suddenly said, "Oh, your friend that I met at the railway station." And he went, "No, not that. You're getting confused, Mother. You're getting confused." And I then said, "Mr. Birchwood, what exactly, what was all that about then?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, the man from Thailand or somewhere, he came over to stay, and I met him at the railway station. I brought him here." And I went, "Oh, OK, no, that's very nice of you." "Oh, we let him stay, and he stayed in the spare room." I said, "It's really nice of you, Mr. Birchwood, that's very kind." And George is absolutely, you can see on his face that something had gone drastically wrong.
I think we just looked at the most obvious station where he would have gone to, because the home address, his mum's home address, was in Banstead. So we checked the CCTV around about the time that George had indicated he would have arrived. And sure enough, you know, we found a very good picture of Paul shaking hands with his mother at the top of the stairs.
Detectives pressed George on his connection to Paul, the mysterious visitor from Thailand.
He's actually a friend of a friend, really, isn't he?
And is he Thai or is he English?
He's English.
He's English. And how long did he stay?
2 weeks, 10 days.
And where did he stay?
He stayed in London, he stayed with me, he stayed...
Whereabouts would he stay with you?
Well, at my mother's.
So you start to make some inquiries around this unknown Paul.
Yeah.
What do you find out?
Well, George also told us that he'd actually taken Paul to visit Sharon at Sharon's house. One of my key lines of inquiry was to identify everybody that had been in that house a few days or so before Sharon was murdered. So that meant that I needed to get Paul's DNA, because I still had the DNA on the tape.
We set up a meeting via some of our contacts in the British Embassy because Paul had been involved in criminality in Thailand, so the embassy staff were already aware of him and already had been talking to him previously. So it was quite seamless, and it wasn't unusual for those staff to arrange to meet him.
The arrangement was made to meet him in a restaurant. Someone from the British consulate sat and spoke to him, and when he left that meeting, the police officers were able to seize the cutlery and the food that he'd been eating.
My team were there and they took the cutlery and the crockery and sent it back to me, forensically sealed, and I then had it couriered up to the laboratories, and then they then did the DNA tests to compare it to the DNA that was found on the glass and also on the murder tape that was used to bind Sharon.
The result was that the DNA material found on the cutlery used by Paul Crine was a forensic match with the DNA found on the tape and found on the glass.